Hi, so a little backstory. Last year, November, December, I was in Cross River State. I met what I may describe as a shocker. Maybe not much of a shocker because I've had informations before that time how people had become millionaires. And when I got there, many people in their thousands. And now these are villagers. These are people who literally live most of their lives in farms. And these are cocoa farmers, right? And I think it's just incredible how that transformation happened just between 2020, lately 2023 and then 2024, earning over 100 million and more depending on the output that they get. Now, these are just farmers, not to talk about the middlemen or those that are exporting. So in this video, I'm going to break it down to give you the entire story, what happened in that sector, and also touching on some other agro commodities like palm oil. And we'll understand, is this time for good investment in agriculture? And is it just a boom? Is this going to be sustainable over a period of time? Or can we advise investment? Of course, we'll have all of that conversation in this video. So just come along and let's dive right in. All right, hi, my name is Ashu Tam, and I am an agricultural professional. So right here we talk about agricultural business, the practice of farming, its investment, and everything in that line. And guess what? This is our first video. But I'm glad that it's finally happening because this has come a long way. And I'm happy that you are one of the first to be part of what we are doing here. And I tell you, this is going to be a lot of information that can change your life. And we'll be bringing it your way quite consistently. Yeah, we're ready to do it now. So just go ahead, subscribe to this channel, like, share, and then leave us a comment. We would like to hear from you. What do you think about what we're going to share or what we are sharing? We'd love to get all that feedback. Thank you very much. So again, in December last year, 2024, I got this email from my FX, and it says that cocoa was the best performing commodity that traded on the New York market, which it was followed by Bitcoin. And then I think a couple of weeks later, I saw this tweet from this guy called Bitcoin Chief, and he said that a barrel of crude oil is selling for $79, and the equivalent of palm oil in barrel was selling for $167. And then I thought to myself, well, these are agro commodities that are competing favorably and outperforming some of the world's most valued and traded commodities, right? And what this just tells us is that there's a change that is happening, isn't it? And now these are the values too, so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So cocoa price had raised from about $2,000 per metric ton to over $10,000 and above per metric ton from January 2024 to December 2024. So at December, it was at 10,000 plus, right? So now the question will be, what has resulted to such dramatic increase within a very short period of time? And we can as well maybe even say that this is a boom, right? Because the rate at which the price surge is quite dramatic. It is not a normal, it's not a normal price raise that comes from when it is on season and then off season when harvest is not happening. So West Africa happened to be the most producers of cocoa. In fact, West Africa produces 75% of the entire cocoa in the world, with the most countries being Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. Those two put together contribute 60% of the entire production in the world. And it happened that both countries were badly hit by diseases and also consequence of the climate change. So yield was dramatically low. And there was also speculations that there was some level of deforestation where they're taking off old cocoa and replacing them with new ones. And usually the best of varieties will take about 3-4 years before they begin to yield, right? So there was a demand in the market, but with little supply. The next important point that I'm going to talk about is, what is it? Is this boom? Is it sustainable? And I think that if you have been following my line of thought and conversation, you probably could assume what would be the right thing, because I think we can refer to this as a boom, right? Understanding that this happened as a result of the effect of this, which probably may not spell that this would be sustainable over time. So we can say that is a boom. Okay. hmm I want to quickly mention about palm oil. Palm oil, like I did mention earlier, has been competing quite favorably with crude oil, as they all are oil. So now, yeah, both palm oil, crude oil dealers, they're all oil dealers, and it's making. But I feel like the limiting factor to why palm oil does not gain much credibility, or what if it's value in money, yeah, but a crude oil, because of the robust structure that is on ground, both in the exploration, the transportation, and the movement of it, and it value and wide range of use in the international space makes it gain more reputation than palm oil. But obviously, palm oil in its pricing has more value in the current market than crude oil, as compared to in barrels, in the sales as in barrel. However, palm oil is not sold in barrels, sold in metric ton. So converting that, there are about 7.3 barrels in 1 metric ton. The equivalent amount of palm oil in barrel, it has been for a long time higher in price value than crude oil. So now the question, putting this all together, is this the good time to consider investment in agriculture? It's a disclaimer. None of this is investment advice. These are just information. So if you want to make investment, you need to do your own research, factor in everything else that you need to consider, the environment, the place of business. That's all of the factors that are important for consideration for a business. So you put that into the picture, make your research before you eventually get into it. So that aside, so the question is still, so can we consider at this point that agriculture is that profitable for investment? And I would say yes, right? But the truth is that the price at which cocoa or palm oil is now is not always going to be. Now, one thing with production of agricultural products is that there are seasons where their harvest seasons they are more abundant, and there are seasons where they are off season, and then they are not as abundant as they were in the harvest season. So people understanding this variation in seasons, which also has variation in price for these two different seasons. So people take advantage of that to either save up or store these products and then resell them at the time where the prices had appreciated more. As concerning cocoa, there are still speculation. I read from the FX 2025 projection report line and other projections. It shows that the prices are still going to be high because the supply is not yet matching with the demand. But of course, already at this point, the supply is beginning to pick up. But there's also projections that the price is going to remain high, relatively high through 2025. We can't say entirely for what happens thereafter, but then no matter what happens, the truth is that it's a business that is profitable. And thank you for watching, and we'll be glad to have you again. And don't forget to like, to subscribe, press that subscribe button, and we'll see you again next time.